My name is Brendan Smith. I am the Brewing Sailor, and this is another Hangover free review. Let's get into it. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Hangover Free Reviews. I am your host, the Brewing Sailor, Brendan Smith. Whether you're living a sober lifestyle or just looking to cut back on your drinking, you've come to the right place because this is the show that helps you moderate your booze, not your brews. Just how do we do that? I'm very glad you asked. Each week, we take a look at a couple of the non-alcoholic beers and we score them against the guidelines appropriate to that style of beer as prescribed by the Beer Judge Certification Program. If you're interested in learning more about the BJCP program, the link to the style guideline we use today will be in the description below. After that, I'll take my judge's hat off and I'll let you know how I personally feel about the beer, what I like or don't like about it, and how often I would pay for this beer, if at all. On today's show, we're talking about Asahi Super Dry 0.0. So Asahi is a big name in the regular fully leaded beer world, and now this is their entry into the non-alcoholic world. So let's get into it, shall we? But before we do that, please remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and do leave a comment before you go. It really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's get into this review. So, the Asahi 00. One of my favorite sounds in all the world, a beer opening. Okay. As far as we're going to jump right into appearance. And as you can see here, this is crystal clear, just brilliantly clear, which is 100% to style. We are using BJCP Style 2A, the International Pale Lager. You'll note we use this style a lot in the non-alcoholic world. There's a lot of crispy boys out there, whether they're American light lagers, whether they're, some type of European lager, like a Czech, not the premium Czech lager, but the base Czech lager, a Mexican style lagers. There's a whole raft of different Italian lagers. They all fall under this BJCP Style 2A International Pale Lager. And like I said in the intro, if you want to read more about that, the link will be in the description below. So another note, so you got this light straw, or I should say straw to light golden color, which again, very much to style. And then a frothy white head that, as you can see, is already dissipating. Okay, so that's all 100% to style. So it's going to earn 3 points out of 3 on appearance. For those of you who might be watching for the first time, the BJCP program is graded a very specific way. So we have 5 categories: aroma, appearance, which we just covered, flavor, mouthfeel, or how the beer feels going across your tongue, and finally, overall impression. And those are weighted differently. So you can earn a maximum of 3 points for aroma, 12 points for appearance, 20 points for flavor, 5 points for mouthfeel, and 10 points for the overall impression of the beer. So let's move into aroma. There's a light grainy quality to it, almost like a light crackery quality. I'm not getting any esters from the yeast or any off flavors or off aromas, I should say, from a flaw in their premise or their processes. It ticks all the boxes it's supposed to. It just doesn't do anything to write home about. So we're going to give it a 6 out of 12. It's okay. It's just nothing that jumps into your nose and says, hi, this is my aroma and you want to smell me. All right, going on to flavor. Okay, here there is a little light sweetness from the grain, but here I do get a little fruity flavors, which I'm assuming is from the yeast. Maybe like light pear or apple on the back of my tongue, just a little bit. It's not super noticeable, but it is there. Also, there's a little spicy quality to the hops at the back end. And when I say spice, I don't mean heat. I'm not thinking like Tex-Mex or Thai spice. I'm talking just an herbal spice, maybe almost peppery, like black pepper. There is, like I said, a light cracker flavor to it, like a dry cracker flavor to it. It is highly attenuated. That is to say that all the sugars have been eaten up by the yeast. It's a very crisp, clean finish, and there's no off flavors noted. So again, very solid, but nothing outstanding either. We're going to award this 14 points out of 20 on flavor. For mouthfeel, it's kind of hard to mess up the mouthfeel on a 2A International Pale Lager. It is light, it's crisp, it's highly carbonated. They didn't miss anything. 5 out of 5. And finally, as far as my overall impression, look, it's a decent lawnmower softball beer. It hits all the notes it has to. It just doesn't really do anything super memorable, at least to me. But it doesn't do anything super wrong either. So we're going to give it a 5 out of 10. That brings our total score to 33 out of 50. Now, for those of you who have watched, you're familiar with this, but for those who might be tuning in for the first time, a 25 out of 50, 25 to 30, you're in your average beer. 30 to 33 is a good beer. Or excuse me, 30 to 35 is a good beer. We scored it a 33. 35 to 40 is a very good above average beer, really getting close to medal contention. 40 to 45 is an excellent beer that's almost assuredly going to medal unless all of the beers are great. And then a 45 and above is a world-class representation of the style. 45 and above, you're talking about in the running for best in show at a beer competition. So this falls right in the middle of the good category. It is a good beer. It's not a great beer. It's not even a very good beer, but it is a good beer. It's not a bad beer. It's a serviceable beer. It delivers on the experience that it advertises. It advertises a light, crisp, dry finish and a clean drinking beer. It's an inoffensive beer. It's a beer you can drink when it's super hot. It's a beer you can drink with spicy food. You're not going to have a problem with it. As far as my personal observations, before I get into that, quick reminder. The fine folks at 1820 Brewing up in Portland, Maine they haven't told me that they've stopped it yet, so they are still accepting the discount code Brewing Sailor 20 at checkout. That means if you go there and you put in Brewing Sailor 20 in the discount code at checkout, you're going to get 20% off your beer order. So head over to 1820brewing.com and treat yourself to some fantastic beer. They have a new Vienna lager that's coming out. They actually just shipped it to me yesterday, I believe. Yes, yesterday. So I should be seeing that next week. There'll be a review incoming on that, as well as their raspberry sour, All That Raz. That'll be coming out soon. But head over there, grab yourself some beer, treat yourself, tell them the Brewing Sailor sent you. Let me know what you thought of the beer after you drank it. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on it. All right, back to my personal observations on this. Like I said, it's a really good lawnmower beer. It's a good beer. It's just the Crispy Boy market in the non-alcoholic beer world is just so saturated. I mean, just offhand, you've got two from Athletic with Gold, Upside Dawn and Athletic Light. You've got from Untitled Arts, you have their Mexican lager, you have their American light lager, you have their Italian style Pilsner. From Rationale, you have a Mexican lager. From let's see, who else? I'm trying to think of the Rick's Near Beer down in Austin has a really good Pils. Rescue Club has a phenomenal Pils. So there's so many of these good Crispy Boys out there that this one just doesn't stand out enough for me to want to go out and run out and get it again. And if I were to, I'm going to pick just about any craft beer over this, right? Just because I'm a craft beer guy. I'm from that world. I'm a craft brewer. So if if I have my choice, I'm going to get a craft crispy boy. If I don't have the choice and I'm just stuck getting whatever at the store, and it's this Dos Equis Zero, Salt and Lime, and Corona, I'm going to reach for the Corona or the Dos Equis every time over this. I'm just more partial to the Mexican variant of the International Pale Lager style than I am the Japanese rice variant. For whatever reason, I love that corn sweetness. Don't know why, because I usually don't like sweet beers, and then they're not overly sweet, to be fair. There's just a touch of corn sweetness in them. But I really prefer the Mexican style over the Japanese style on this one, so I'm going to reach towards Corona or Dos Equis every time over this. That's not to say it's a bad beer, and if you like Japanese lagers, you probably will like this. I don't think there's anything wrong with this beer. It's just not my personal favorite. As far as where it would fit on my scale of regular rotation beer being at the top, then would buy again, then would drink again given limited options. I'm okay never having it again, or drain pour. This is going to fall right in the middle for me. This is would buy it again given limited options, especially if I'm, out at an Asian restaurant with my wife. My wife loves Asian food. If we're at a Japanese restaurant or a Thai restaurant and this is their NA, it's either this or O'Doul's or this or Heineken Zero. Yeah, I'm going to grab this every time. But that's about the only place I would do it. So, or if I was at a party and it was this and, Bud Zero or this and O'Doul's, then yeah, I'm going to grab for this. But other than that, I'm probably going to reach for something else. This is not something I'm going to go out and get all the time. All right. If you're interested in trying it for yourself, it's Asahi. They're huge. They're everywhere. It's nationwide. I find them at Total Wine. You can probably find them at whatever your large scale beer retailer is. If you like what you heard today, please remember to smash that like button. If you do like the video and you haven't subbed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that red subscription button, turn it gray, hit the notification bell, let YouTube and its algorithm know that you want to see my content as soon as I drop it. And do leave a comment before you go. I love to hear your feedback. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Is there a beer you want to see me review? If so, leave a comment and let me know. And please do share this video across your social medias. It really helps the channel. Thanks, everybody. Come back next Tuesday when we are reviewing the Ceveza Atletica from Athletic Brewing. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Sláinte, y'all.